VACNet 3.0 is on right now, but you need to be careful because it is false banning CS2 players, and this will be one of the rare times Valve doesn't address it. Let's go over everything you need to know and what to do if you are falsely hit. Just a few days ago, we went over VACNet 3.0, CS2's new anti-cheat, and how it has been working for the past month. Hours after I released my video, another new ban wave came in, but this time something seemed to be a bit off. This time it wasn't just Valve pushing VACNet 3.0 to more lobbies, but updating it to detect more irregular gameplay. The actual purpose of the change was targeting bots. The bot provider who started receiving cooldowns after VACNet 3.0 was added in August found a bypass that worked for a few weeks, until the September 13th change, when they announced they were getting hit by VAC once again. Now, this is a good thing, as it does seem like Valve is aggressively targeting them, but a lot of legit players are now getting hit in the crossfire. When we look at the new ban numbers, the bans went from around 150 to 200 every day in August at the start of VACNet 3.0 to 300 every day early September, but on September 13th, the ban numbers decide to spike to well over 650 to where they're about to hit 700. Some players are even receiving a lot more notifications that cheaters they played with are now getting banned, with multiple in just one day. This seems like great news, but whatever Valve and VACNet 3.0 did seems to be affecting a lot of legit players. With it being an AI-based anti-cheat, it must have gotten a few false detections and then started spiraling from there. Pretty much any report of VACNet 3.0 I've seen within the last 24 hours have been people claiming they were false. Of course, there could be false positives here and there, but it seems to be more than just a few. One guy thought he got the irregular gameplay cooldown from someone else, seeing as he was confident he didn't cheat, until he hovered over the prompt and realized it was actually him who got the cooldown. One person is on their 6th false VAC cooldown because they used a trackpad, and every time would get a false ban, to the point the 24-hour cooldown is now 7 days long. One person and their entire 5-man got put in a cooldown and had to wait it out. Another person said, like so many others, I got a VAC 24-hour cooldown tonight for irregular gameplay. These are just a few of the complaints out of the large group of players who seem to be getting falsely hit. Now, of course, there could be cheaters hiding behind legit players acting like they were falsely banned, but Valve was expecting there to be some false positives. They even mentioned it when they announced VACNet 3.0, but it just gets overlooked as it is the last sentence. If you believe your match was incorrectly cancelled, email us the match details. So if you are getting affected by VACNet 3.0 and these new changes within the past few days, make sure you email Valve and let them know, especially if it's you who is getting the cooldown and not your friends, because that means something you are doing is triggering VAC to cancel the game. I wouldn't expect Valve to remove the cooldown, but by letting Valve know, they can hopefully look into the problem so you don't continue getting falsely flagged, to the point the cooldowns are over a week like some already have. In a recent clip of a game getting cancelled by VAC, you'll see it happens right after someone reports a player. Now, we've seen this happen many times when VAC cancels the game in CS2, so it's clear VACNet 3.0 still works the same as the original VACNet, where player reports are needed, as well as VACNet detecting some suspicious gameplay. So whatever change has happened recently, it seems to be easier to be flagged with irregular gameplay by VACNet, and then if people just report you afterwards, odds are you get a cooldown. Now, I know there is definitely cases where someone is blatantly hacking and a report does nothing, but there's also many times a report cancels a game. So unless it's a coincidence every time, it follows along with what we know from the old VAC. I wouldn't even be surprised if the process was similar, but instead the global cooldown was just added in, and Valve's trusted partners are the ones doing the cases instead of players, as there are times where the cooldowns lead to bans when they are actual cheaters. So cooldowns really just seem to be a step in the process. Valve usually announces when there are false bans. They usually announce it through a blog post or a tweet, but I am expecting this to be a rare time they don't, seeing as they already warned false positives might come, and even if you are hit, it is only a 24-hour cooldown, and it's not like it's permanent, where Valve would need to let players know that they will reverse it. At most, if you were hit, you may have lost some elo and lowered your trust factor. If you are worried about being falsely detected by VACNet 3.0, the safest option is to not play. Of course, that's not really a good solution, but we don't know for sure what is causing these false global cooldowns, so you just have to be careful. If you are in a party, you are more likely to get hit, as if anyone you are queued with is also falsely detected, so will everyone else in the party. But if you play solo, you will only be punished for your actions, which lowers the risk. Remember, if you get a ban, be sure to report it to Valve and provide as much information as possible so they can look into the problem. As well, if you subscribe, you will stay updated on all the latest news for Valve and CS2 for when we get more news about VACNet 3.0. So for those who wondered, why doesn't Valve just put VACNet 3.0 in all matches instead of just a limited amount? Well, this is exactly why. If VACNet 3.0 was in every lobby, I imagine a good percentage of the entire player base would be sitting with a 24-hour cooldown right now. Same thing for those who say, why is Valve giving out cooldowns instead of permanent bans if they can detect irregular gameplay? And this is exactly why, because if not, there would be a bunch of legit players losing their minds with a false VAC ban. But at least now, if you are falsely hit, you can play again in 24 hours. This doesn't mean VACNet is not working anymore, as there is still many games getting cancelled that include actual cheaters. I would say VACNet 3.0 is now working too well since it's giving out false positives. If it wasn't working at all, you wouldn't even need to worry about the false bans. You will notice though, the Premier leaderboard is back to being filled with multiple cheaters, waiting for Valve to clean it up once again. We are about to hit 1 year since CS2 and Season 1 of Premier started, so will we finally get Season 2? VACNet 3.0 was looking pretty good for the first month, until whatever they decide to do on the 13th. If you are still getting falsely hit by VAC, make sure you email Valve so they can look into the issue and have a fix by next week. Like and subscribe to stay updated and not miss what Valve does next.